We welcome you to Park LaSalle 2 here on the LaSalle-Lachine border, right across the bridge for this matchup between the Kahnawake Warhawks U-13 and the Lachine Athletics. Game brought to you by Mohawk Super Bingo, and our first batter, Marcus Rice, is going to check swing in there for strike one. It's 0-1, a lineup featuring Rice, Cage McCumber, Jordan Norton leading things up here in the top of the first, going up against Lachine's number 33, James Barker. Ball one in the dirt here, 1 ball, 1 strike. Let's take a look at the A's defensively. Barker on the mound, Zach Waite at first, Vincent LaBelle over at second. Shortstop Renaud Berthot Lefebvre. As there's strike 2 in there to Rice, and now it's a 1-2 count. Warhawks coming off a 15-11 loss on Monday night against the DDO Blue Jays. The 1-2, and Rice fights that one off. Pitch number 5 of the at-bat is coming up here. Sheen A's come into this one, 1 win, 6 losses, and a tie. And that's going to miss the strike zone, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Warhawks bats came to play the other night. The only problem was that their defense was not as strong as they usually are. As a 2-2 for Barker. Misses upstairs, and now Rice has worked his way back into this count. It's a full one, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Christian Dion at third for the Athletics. And that one's hit well to second. It finds its way through the hole on the left side, or the right side of the diamond. Marcus rounding first. He's going to get back there. And it's a leadoff single for 17 in red. Warhawks have won each of their last 2 road games, the latest which came last week, an 8-7 win at St. Laurent, in which the potential game-tying runner was thrown out at home. So here's Cage McCumber stepping in against Barker. That's off the plate, 1 ball, no strikes. Cage McCumber, and then Jordan Norton coming up. Logan Deshotels in right. Nilan Aguilar-Estrada in left, and there's strike 1. We've got a 1 ball, 1 strike count on Cage McCumber. Cage and then Jordan Norton, who's on deck for the Warhawks, coming up here. Runner on first, and McCumber swings through strike 2. And Cage was really good the other night. He reached base all 3 times, had 2 doubles, had 4 runs driven in. But now obviously a different animal as everything's all knotted up at 0-0. And that misses. Rice is going to go for it. They throw down. Marcus Rice is in there, standing up. There you see the second baseman, Vincent LaBelle. The ball got away from the catcher. And Rice is in there. I thought that would have been a dead ball, but they say no because the pitcher never had possession of it. Rice stole second, never expected to get the third, but here he is. 90 feet away from home. That's strike 3 on Cage McCumber, and the Warhawks won't get a run here. 1 down, and in steps Jordan Norton. That's one of those dreaded caught-looking calls, as Norton comes in with 1 out and a runner on third. This game brought to you by Mohawk Super Bingo. You want to talk about a grand slam? How about winning thousands? As we have ball 1 in there to Jordan Norton, who is catching at least for the first half of the inning. That'll be coming up, of course, after the Warhawks are done batting here. Top 1, runner on third, 1 out, and Norton reaches across his body and fouls this one off. 1 ball, 1 strike on 38 in red. Rasundahaway Gabriel batting cleanup on the on-deck circle. The pitch that sails over the head of Norton, 2 balls and a strike. Getting off to a big start, important for the Warhawks. They have fallen by 5 runs or more in 7 of their contests this season. 3 balls and a strike on Norton. As Barker looks to get back into this count. Down 3 balls and a strike on the batter. And it's not going to be here. So Jordan Norton reaches with a walk. Here's Rasundahaway Gabriel, 3 for 3 the other night with a 3-run home run in the open inning. which gave the Warhawks a bit of a pulse as they were down by 9 entering that fray. Scored 5, still wasn't enough in the end. Barker winds up. Gabriel smacks this one right at Barker, the throw. Not in time at first. And Barker makes the catch, and that is a huge out for the A's, 2 down. And now it's all up to Jackson Norton. So the Warhawks had a runner on third, no outs, but now there's 2 down with runners on the corners for Jackson Norton. Ball 1 off the plate, and now the runner's going, and the speedster Norton is in there. So he is over at second, the Warhawks with 2 in scoring position. Barker sets. Hit well by Norton. It's caught off the hop. There's no force play at second. They throw to first. Not in there. And Jackson Norton has scored. It ends up going into the books as an RBI single for Jackson Norton. Sorry, Marcus Rice comes across the bag, and he gets Kahnawake on the board. It's 1-0 Warhawks. There's ball 1 away, and the runner's taking off for second. And he's in there standing up, and again, 2 runners in scoring position for the Warhawks as Jaden Norton steps in. And Norton swings at a high one, 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-0 Warhawks as Marcus Rice has just scored. And that one slashed at the center. That's going to drop. And it gets by the center fielder. Jackson on his horse. He's going to come across the plate to throw to second. Jaden Norton slides. And it's a 2-run double for Jaden Norton. And the Warhawks have gone up by 3. So a runner on second for Lily Barnes. She represents what would be run number 5 of the inning. Takes strike 1 in there from Barker. It's 0-1.
You're a dive ball, right?
And the Warhawks have gone up by 3. It's 3-0 Kahnawake.
Casey's starting pitcher, huh? Yeah.
Paige, what's your last name?
Ball 1.
No.
1 ball, 1 strike.
I know.
We have some inquiring minds here at the Warhawks dugout.
Yeah, is that your sister? Yeah, everyone knows. Macumber.
Here's the 1-1. Barnes swings through strike 2. It's now 1-2. Good cut. Can Barker get out of this inning by giving up just 3, or will the inning continue? Here's the 1-2. Misses, and the runner Norton's going to go for third. The throw down the line. Gets by. And Norton's not going to go. So Jaden Norton now 90 feet away from home. And if that ball went any further just now, if that went into the A's dugout, that would have been run number 4. So a few centimeters, maybe, separating run number 4 on that particular throw. That's why you always got to guide the ball in. The 2-2 to Barnes. Swings through strike 3, and that's going to do it for the top of the first. Warhawks score 3. They take a 3-0 lead, heading it to the bottom of the first. You're watching Warhawks Baseball on Baby Blue Memories, brought to you by Mohawk Super Bingo. Welcome back to Park LaSalle, bottom of the first inning. Warhawks Baseball here on Baby Blue Memories. Tonight brought to you by Mohawk Super Bingo. Talk about a grand slam. You can win thousands of dollars in person or over the internet. Come check us out on the 138 right before the Mercier Bridge. Mohawk Super Bingo still offering our Zoom sessions, and the Warhawks U-13 team up by a score of 3-0. But first, Ilan Aguilastrada will step in for Lachine. And there's a ball thrown by Rosanagete Lahash, tonight's starter for the Warhawks. Here's the 1-0. Drifting its way over the strike zone, that's ball 2, and it's 2-0 on the starter, or the leadoff hitter, Aguilastrada. Rustin Dahaway Gabriel at third. Kate Stacy at first. Jackson Norton at second. That catches the upper half of the strike zone, and it's the first strike of the night for Rustinagete Lahash. 2-1 the count on the leadoff hitter, Aguila Estrada. Christian Dion on deck for the A's. You can hear the boats in the background here. Not quite as well as you'd be able to hear them at the hospital ball field. That pitch is a little too high, and it's 3-1. See if Lahash can get back in this count. It's a 3-1 coming up here. The windup in the pitch. That misses upstairs, and it's a 5-pitch walk to Aguila Estrada, and it's time for Christian Dion to come in to bat for the A's. Rustinagete Lahash has a runner on for the A's here in the bottom of the first inning. Warhawks up by 3. There's a pitch outside. It's ball 1. James Barker, the pitcher, on deck for the Athletics, down by 3 in the bottom of the first inning. And that's a little off the plate, 2-0. Warhawks scoring 3 in that last half inning, and the A's batting for the first time tonight. That misses upstairs, and it's quickly 3-0 on Dion. With Barker on deck. Rustinagete sets. That's in there for strike 1, and that's got to feel good for 23 in red. Now it's 3-1 on Dion. That's going to miss. It's ball 4, a little too high. And the lead 2 runners are on for the A's in the bottom of the first inning. And in steps James Barker, number 33, trying to help out his own cause here, the starting pitcher for the A's. And Lachine in business right now with 2 runners on and nobody out to start this inning. That pitch gets away. And we're going to have a no play at third. Delabous, the catcher, for this half an inning, not able to track it down. Kehlani Henry on deck for the A's. 42 in yellow. Runners on the corners, nobody outs. That's strike 1. Even count now, 1 ball, 1 strike. We're at Park LaSalle here in, I refuse to believe that it's Lachine, but apparently Lachine. I think it's LaSalle. The 1-1. A little too high and inside, 2 balls and a strike on Barker. They say the first out and the last out of each game, the most difficult to get. That's elevated and out of the strike zone, and now it's 3 balls and a strike on Barker. That's strike 2, and now we've got a full count on Barker. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The 3-2. Outside and low, and the A's have put their first 3 runners on base via walks. And Kehlani Henry will step in. Beatrice Forget is on deck, number 41 for the A's. Warhawks need a big out here. Bases loaded, nobody else. And that's outside and out of the strike zone for ball 1. 1 ball on number 42, Kehlani Henry. Ball 2. So a quick 2 balls on Henry. Here's the pitch. And that is not on the plate, and it's 3 balls on Henry. And there's a swing and a miss, and that'll make it 3-1. And Henry, the cleanup hitter, given the green light to swing. That's something that looked good on 3-0. Now it's 3-1. And that's ball 4, and the A's have scored their first run of the night. And that is 4 base on balls for the Warhawks to start this game. As Ronnie Stacy will head on down to speak to us on Agete Lahash. Sunnyside Diner game of the week coming up Sunday night at 7 o'clock will be in St. Polycarp, where the Midget Warhawks, aka U-13 Warhawks, will be in action taking on Soulange number 2. Coverage starting at 7 p.m. That's over in St. Polycarp, and we hope you get to join us for The Cycle, our second episode. Yuriwase Baby Blue Memories combining on that. The Cycle available this Friday. Go check out Yuriwase, like him on Facebook. That's IORIWASE. So here's Vincent LaBelle, 43 in yellow. That's ball 1. So 4 straight walks for the A's to start this bottom of the first inning. Warhawks defense has not had to work yet. There's a swing and a miss. Good looking pitch from Lahash, and it evens the count at 1-1. The 1-1 coming up. A little high, and it's now 2-1. Warhawks 3, A's 1, but the A's have the bases loaded. And now it's 3-1. So now Lahash has just got to dig in here and get one over that strike zone. His defense has been reliable throughout the year. No reason to believe they can't help him out now. The 3-1 on the way. Over the strike zone, but too high. And that is the 5th walk in a row to start this game. And now the A's have made it 3-2. So the 5th run, what would be the 5th run? Barker, or sorry, not Barker, but what would be the 5th run? LaBelle is over on first. Bases loaded, nobody out. And a quick first ball. That's in there for strike 1. On Logan Des Hotel. Number 40 for Lachine. Lahash setting in with a 1-1 count. Here's the pitch. And that is strike 2. Osenagete's got to be feeling like $1 million after that one. $2 million is 1 strike away, my friend. The 1-2 coming up to Des Hotel. Lahash setting. as the breeze starts to pick up here in the going left to right. The 1-2. Too high, and it's now an even count at 2-2. Barker at third. Henry at second. LaBelle at first. And 2 runs in already for Lachine. Hit well back to the pitcher. Lahash throws, and they're out at home. They get the force, and the runners are in the same positions. It's a fielder's choice. Barker gets thrown out at home. Bases are loaded, 1 down. Now for Lachine, as Zach Waite, number 44, will step in for the team in yellow. So now Henry's moved to third. LaBelle's at second. Deshotel, who reached on that fielder's choice, is at first. Ball 1 outside the strike zone. But boy, have the A's made Lahash work there. Here's the 1-0. Outside, and we've got a quick 2 balls on Waite. 3-2 lead for the Warhawks. The 2-0. Hit well to second. They're going to tag out the runner at second, and they could have had a play at first. They did not, but it's a sacrifice. Fielder's choice, which has tied the game up. So Waite reaches first. LaBelle gets to third. Henry scored. Deshotel tagged, going to second. And runners are on the corners with 2 outs, and the A's have tied this up at 3. That's strike 1 on Luca Belleville. Luca Belleville, number 5, stepping in the dish for the A's. That first out, so crucial for the Warhawks. That strike 2, good looking pitch from Lahash, and he's 1 pitch away from getting his team out of this inning with a tie game. That's strike 3, and a 3-pitch masterpiece by Rosanagete Lahash gets us out of the bottom of the first inning. We're all squared 3-3. 3 runs on no hits, 5 bases on balls, 2 men left on base for the A's. The Warhawks so far, 3 runs, 3 hits, no errors, and 3 left on base. We're all squared 5-5 heading into the top of the second. You're watching Baby Blue Memories. Welcome back to Park LaSalle. Top of the second inning. We're all squared up at 3 runs each, and the Warhawks sending Rosanagete Lahash to bat against James Barker. There's strike 1 on Lahash. Warhawks got 3 runs and 3 hits in that first inning, but Lachine was able to counter with 3 runs of their own. It's 1-1 on Lahash. Lahash, brass scoop, Delaboost, 1, 2, 3 due up for the Warhawks here in the top of the second inning.
I know. She's trying to wait. I know where she found the bee. Where? She's going under.
As Lahash swings through strike 2, it's 1-2. And if you look down the right field line, there's absolutely no fence unless you're able to hit it about 650 feet down the line and right. That's strike 3, and that is the second time a Warhawk has been caught looking at strike 3. Out number 1. And in steps Ethan Brascoop. Second time a Warhawk has gone down on strikes looking. That's not what you want if you're Kahnawake. Sounds like extra push-ups coming up next practice. Ball 1 goes upstairs and away, 1-0. This game brought to you by Mohawk Super Bingo. Talk about a Grand Slam. Win thousands in person or online. Brass Scoop 0 for 2 the other night. And it's 2-0 quickly on him. Brass Group, Delaboost, and then Cade Stacy in the hole if we get another hitter in this inning. One down, nobody on. And Brass Group swings and misses through that. Strike one, it's 2-1 on him. Warhawks trying to halt a 2-game skid. And that's a foul tipped into the mask of the catcher, who appears to be all right. It's now even 2-2. And Brass Group hits this one down the line at first, knocked down by Henry. He will put the tag out over on first base for the second out, and quickly 2 up and 2 down for Kahnawake in the top of the second inning. And here's Casey Delaboost, who hit a bases clearing triple, 3-run triple the other night in that 15-11 loss to DDO. Ball one upstairs and away. Cade Stacy on deck for the Hawks. 3-3 tie here in the top of the second. Here's the pitch. In the dirt, and quickly 2 balls on Delaboost. A lot of sun, but that's on the other field. You have 2 twin fields here. And quickly Delaboost ahead 3-0 in the count. Got the sun really coming out on the other field. Maybe a little bit if you were at first, or if you made a shift from second over to the right side of the dugout, right side of the field. And Delaboost smacks this one to shallow center, and it bounces away. And Casey's on her horse, getting it to second. Are they going to send her for 3? They will. Delaboost round second, heading for third. And they're sending her home. Casey Delaboost going for it inside the Parker. She scores! It's a 360-foot home run for Delaboost, not over the fence, but inside the yard, and the Warhawks make some life out of what was looking like a lifeless inning. Kahnawake back in front. It's 4-3.
Casey.
And that is her second near home run in 3 nights. Had the bases clearing triple, which would have counted for 4 had she, well, not fallen, but also had there not been 5 runs that were scored. And Stacy smacks one at the shallow right. And gets over the head of the right fielder. Cade on his horse, getting to second. And they're going to send him to third. Are they going to send him home? They're going home. The throw! Not in time! Back-to-back homers! And the Warhawks have gone up by 2 here in the top of the second. It's 5-3. Back-to-back home runs by Casey Delaboost and Cade Stacy. The 2 bottom hitters of the order tonight. Back to the leadoff hitter, Marcus Rice. He's 1 for 1, singled and scored back in the top of the first inning. Marcus swings at a low one here, trying to break out the pitching wedge. It's 0-1. Maybe the sand wedge. They are in sand after all, right? How about some hustle by Cade Stacy as Rice looks at strike 2. 0-2 on 17 in red.
I better get a good pitch.
This is the only baseball action for Kahnawake tonight as Rice slacks this one over the glove of the second baseman. And Rice is in there just out of reach for LaBelle, and the Warhawks have a runner on, and in will step Cage McCumber. And now suddenly, after getting the first 2 outs of the inning, the A's running into a bit of trouble. 4 base runners have reached, 2 of them have scored. This is the 4th batter, actually, I should say now. McCumber, who swings at a high one at strike 1, and the runner's going. Rice will get in there standing up, and he has his 3rd stolen base of the night.
Ethan, you can get home. You can get home.
That kid could have caught it, though.
Marcus Rice stole 2nd and 3rd on the same play last time. 5-3. Barker's pitch. And that's a check swing in there, strike 2, and Rice is going for 3. The throw down the third baseline, and he's in there.
Oh my God, Jackson.
And Marcus Rice with his 4th steal of the night. Oh, and 2, however, on the bait of the batter. And that's strike 3, and that'll do it for the top of the second. It was lifeless, but then eventually got exciting. Warhawks scored 2 runs on 3 hits, 2 stolen bases, 1 left on. The Warhawks up 5-3. We're heading into the bottom of the second. You're watching Warhawks baseball on Baby Blue Memories. We welcome you back to Park LaSalle, bottom of the second. This is the Mohawk Super Bingo matchup of the night, and it's the only Kahnawake team in action. I got the green light to go do any game that I wanted to tonight, and it happens that this is the only team from our community in action. It's the U-13s, a team that we're familiar with, and they are up 5-3 as we head into the bottom of the second inning against the Lachine A's. The Warhawks trying to halt a 2-game losing streak. But coming into this matchup, Kahnawake's actually won each of their last 2 road contests, including an 8-7 thriller at St. Laurent last week. Here's Blake Chan leading things off for the A's. As Osanagete Lahash begins his second inning of work. And he starts it off the way you want, a strike 1. Chan swinging and failing to make contact. And I'll tell you what, last inning, 20 of his first 26 pitches were balls. And that's got to feel good right there because he really recovered to get those last 3 batters out. And quickly, he's ahead of Chan, 0-2. Lahash has looked very impressive in mowing down the last 3 runners for the A's. 2 sacrifices in there a sacrifice grounder for the A's in there as well. This one's a little high and it's 1-2. There was a strikeout and then back-to-back runners reaching on fielder's choices, so he has not allowed a base runner in the last 3 chances. No hits thus far for Lachine. All 5 runners have reached via bases on balls. And that low is low and away, and quickly it's an even count, 2-2 on Blake Chan. Christian Dion, I believe, is in the hole. And now it's a full count, 3-2. That looks like Sajan Patel, actually. So Patel on deck for the A's. The full count offering. Ball 4. And Chan fights back to draw a walk. Here's Sajan Patel, 31 in yellow. With a runner on first. Patel represents what would be the game-tying run. He's at the dish. Lahash sets. Upstairs and 1-0 on Patel. And the Warhawks defense. Barnes in left, Jordan in center, Ethan in right. That's strike 1, catching the outside corner. Gabriel at third. Norton at short. Rice at second. Jackson Norton at first. 2-1. Casey Delaboo's catching. Cage McCumber and Cade Stacy sitting this inning out defensively for the Hawks. There's the 2-1. And that just missed plunking him. It's 3-1. Ash just got to settle in here. You've seen what happens when he throws strikes. He gets batters out. And that's ball 4 outside, and quickly the first 2 A's have reached base via bases on balls. And here's Renaud Berthelot taking ball 1. Berthelot is in for the A's. The pitch. Swing and miss. One and one the count. Here it is. Strike 2, and it's now 1-2. Here's the pitch. Upstairs, and now it's 2-2. Upstairs, and now we've got a full count. Lash has just got to settle in here. We said before, when he's throwing strikes, batters are getting out. He's got to put one over the plate. The 3-2. Inside, and that is ball 4, and quickly the A's have drawn 3 walks. Aguilar-Estrada will step in for Lachine. He drew a walk and scored a run back in the first. Bases loaded, nobody out. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-1. Aguilar-Estrada not able to make contact with that. It's 0-1. 5-3 Warhawks here in the bottom of the second inning, but the A's have loaded the bases with nobody out. Upstairs, and now it's an even count, 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. A little high, and it's 2-1 on Aguilar-Estrada. Some collective oohs from the Warhawks faithful here at Lachine, making the very long trip across the bridge. Please hope that the sarcasm is noted there. 2-1 comes in. And it's 3-1 right now. Aguilar-Estrada. That's in the dirt, and a run has scored via base on balls. Chan scores, and the A's are within 1 run. And here comes Christian Dion, who walked and scored back in the first. That misses for ball 1. As Lahash sets this game, brought to you by Mohawk Super Bingo. The Warhawks 5, the A's 4, but Lachine has loaded the bases. It's in there for strike 1. A little changeup that drifted its way into the strike zone from Nasanagete Lahash. 1-1 coming up. Here's the pitch. That's in there for strike 2, and it's 1-2. That changeup, it's finding its way at the dish. And Dion finds himself 1 strike away from being out number 1 for the Warhawks here in the bottom of the second inning. 5-4 lead Kahnawake. The 1-2 coming up here from Lahash. Just off the plate. Two balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Hit well, caught by Gabriel, and it's a double play. It's a double play. Rasun Dahaway Gabriel makes the play. Dion lines out, Patel tagged out at third. So there's a runner on second and first, and the Warhawks killed 2 birds with 1 stone and still have a lead with 2 down. And here's James Barker. He walked back in the first inning. That ball was smoked, but Gabriel using his length and anticipation to make the play. And good awareness too to run right to third and double off Patel, who was leaning. 2 outs. Lachine coaching staff telling their players to wake up. As Barker there's some sweet chin music waking him up, forcing him off the plate, and it's a quick 2-0 count on 33 in yellow. 5-4 Warhawks in the bottom of the second. The 2-0 coming in. Off the plate, and quickly it's a 3-0 count on Barker. 2 outs, 2 runners on. Athletics will be running on contact. 5-4 Warhawks with the lead. Change up in there, and it's 3-1. Barker thought he was going somewhere, but he's just going to have to face a 5th pitch of the at-bat. Here's a 3-1. That changeup misses. It's a little too high, and the bases are loaded with 2 outs. Oh, Kehlani Henry, I think this is the thing you dream about when you're a kid. Bases loaded, 2 outs, and you're coming up to bat. Of course, it never really happens in the bottom of the second, but hey, dream scenario regardless. And that is a good-looking pitch from Lahash. Down Broadway, and strike 1, it's 0-1. 5-4 on this humid, sunny evening in LaSalle. Or Lachine, and it's skied into right. That drops, and it gets by Brascoop to the wall. 1 run scores, 2 runs score, and a 3rd run has come across the dish and scored. Kehlani Henry with a bases clearing triple. And the A's take the lead at 7-5. And that, my friends, I think that's 4. That's 4. That's 4. That's 4. There's 2 outs.
Easy comeback right here.
I think I might have just appeared on camera for the first time. That's 4 runs. That's 4.
What's the score?
7-5.
Right now it's 7-5?
Yeah. That's 4 runs. Yeah, 2 down. Come on, get that 3rd out, and then they didn't score an extra run. So after much discussion, it has been determined that that is only run number 4, and LaBelle will step in. He walked back in the first. Actually, his walk forced in a run, so no official at-bats on the night, but he does have an RBI. And there's a changeup in there for strike 1. Kehlani Henry with the big hit of the night for the A's, and the only one, a 3-run triple. The 0-1. Strike 2, and quickly it's 0-2. All right, let's see what Lahash can bring to the table here. Trying to get out of this inning without giving up 5. The 0-2. Foul back, and LaBelle keeps the at-bat alive. Can LaBelle get that 5th run across the board for the A's this inning? Or will Lahash get out of this inning? He got him! And that is strike 3. 4 runs on 1 hit, 1 left on for the A's. It's 7-5. Lachine heading into the bottom of the top of the 3rd inning. You're watching Warhawks baseball on Baby Blue Memories. Welcome back to the Mohawk Super Bingo game of the week. 7-5 lead for the Lachine A's over the Kahnawake Warhawks as we enter the top of the 3rd. Jordan Norton, Rasundahawe Gabriel, Jackson Norton going up against James Barker in his 3rd inning of work, and that one smoked down the first baseline, but foul. Good contact by Jordan. Going to be interesting to see if Ronnie Stacy's going to keep Rasunagete Lahash in there for a 3rd inning of work, like what Lachine's doing with Barker here. And that's skied into right, foul, and it's 1-2. And that's going to be the first big decision for Ronnie Stacy coming up. And hey, we got to call a timeout here. There's a ball on the field. There's a ball on the field. 2-2 on Jordan Norton. Here's the 2-2. Hit well on the ground to short. Knocked down by Henry. He throws across the diamond. Not in time. It gets away. And there's a wide turn by Jordan. The speedster is going to get in there. It's a double for Jordan Norton. And this kid has speed to burn. He is quicker than gossip, Jordan Norton, and gets to second on the leadoff double. And here is Rasundahawe Gabriel stepping in there. 0 for 1, he lined out back in the first. Fouled back, and it's 0-1 on Gabriel. He represents what would be the game-tying run. On the ground to first. This is going to be a tough play, and he gets by the first baseman, handcuffing him. And there's nobody there to put Gabriel back in there. Meanwhile, coming across the bag and scoring is Jordan Norton. It's an RBI single, and the Warhawks are within 1 now. It's 7-6. And here comes Jackson Norton, representing what would be the go-ahead run. Potential game-tying run is at first. It's 7-6 Lachine. Jackson stares at strike 1 down Broadway. Jackson and Jada Norton coming up next for the Warhawks. The pitch. And Jackson reaching, can't get strike 2. Now there's a steal. Henry backs it up. Runner on second. And it's 0-2. Meanwhile, at the dish on Jackson Norton. 1 run has scored for Kahnawake, 7-6. Here's the pitch. And that one hit well to short. Runner's gonna run. Meanwhile, across the diamond, the throw. Not in time. And Gabriel taking off. And he has tied the game. The Warhawks even it up at 7s.
Jackson just got the hit.
Jackson Norton with an RBI single, and the game is tied at 7 for Jada Norton. And she chops this one into the outfield. It goes. It's a base hit. Rounding second and heading for third is Jackson. Here's the throw to third. Right on there, but they're not going to get him. And meanwhile, Jada gets to second. And 2 Warhawks are in scoring position with no outs. And it's a double for Jada Norton. She's now 2 for 2 on the night. And in steps Lily Barnes, struck out back in the first. Nobody out here. 7-7. She represents what would be the 5th run. And stares at strike one down Broadway. It's 0-1. Kahnawake Lahash in the hole, or I should say on deck. Ethan Brascoop in the hole. Here's the 0-1 to Barnes. That's strike 2 at the knees and on the outside corner. Perfect location for a pitcher. Barnes hits this one to first. It handcuffs the first baseman. Nobody covering. She beats it out. An RBI single for Lily Barnes, and the Warhawks have taken the lead. It's 8-7 Warhawks. And here's Kahnawake Lahash. Barnes represents what would be run number 5 of the inning. Skied in the infield. It falls, and now Jada's gonna go. The runner Barnes tagged out. That's a tough play for her because it was in the air. But Jada scores, and now it's 9-7 Warhawks. It goes into the books as an RBI fielder's choice, and it's 9-7 Warhawks, and run number 5 is still at first, but now there's one out. And here's Ethan Brascoop. Ball 1 gets away, and the runner's going. And run number 5 is in scoring position for the Warhawks, as Kahnawake Lahash moves over to second base. And there's a swing and a miss. We're going to have a pitching change for the Warhawks. Jackson Norton is in, warming up in the Warhawks bullpen. Here's the pitch. Strike 2, and the runner's going. The throw down the third baseline. Oh, he tagged him. No, he didn't tag him. He just got hit into. I love the enthusiasm, but you got to do that if you're running the home. 9-7 Warhawks, and the 5th run's 90 feet away from home. That's not going to happen here, though. It's strike 3, and Brascoop goes down on strikes for the second out. Here's Casey Delaboost, 1 for 1, hit a home run back in the second. 4 runs have scored for the Warhawks. Ball 1 gets away.
Hunter, how many runs is that?
4 runs in this inning for the Warhawks. It's 9-7. 2-run lead for Kahnawake after the A's took a 2-run lead heading into the top of this inning. Strike 1 right down Broadway. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Strike 2, and it's now 1-2 on Delaboost. Can Barker get out of this inning by giving up 4? In what may possibly be his final inning of the night. Skied into shallow center, and that falls, and the Warhawks have scored 5. They max out as Lahash crosses home plate, and Kahnawake has cracked double digits. It's 10-7. Casey Delaboost with her second run driven in on the evening. Kahnawake takes a 10-7 lead. We're heading it to the bottom of the third. It looks like Jackson Norton is coming out of the bullpen. You're watching Baby Blue Memories. We welcome you back to Park LaSalle, bottom of the third inning. The U-13 Kahnawake Warhawks up by a score of 10-7 over the Lachine A's. A new pitcher has come in, Jackson Norton, after Kahnawake Lahash went 2 innings, allowed just 1 hit in those 2 innings time. So when the ball was going over the plate, he was getting batters out. And taking a look at the Warhawks defensively, Lahash has moved to third. That means Gabriel's at first. Rice now at short, and Cade Stacy at second. Jordan Norton will be catching, and in the outfield, Cage McCumber in left, Casey Delaboost in center, Jada Norton in right. So Jackson Norton coming in. This is just his second appearance on the mound this season. As we get into the second half of their schedule. Don't forget, we have more coverage for you coming up on Sunday. Our Sunnyside Diner Game of the Week, the U-18 Warhawks in action visiting St. Polycarp to take on the St. Soulange Cougars 2. We'll have coverage for you starting at 7 o'clock, 6:55. Sunnyside Diner, where it's always sunny in this back to the action on the field. Warhawks trying to hang on to a 3-run lead. And the Athletics sending up a lineup which will feature Desautel, Waite, and Belleville. Desautel 0 for 1, reached on a fielder's choice back in the first inning. So we'll see what Jackson Norton can do. His first pitch. Strike one, good looking pitch right down Broadway. This game, of course, brought to you by Mohawk Super Bingo. Win thousands in cash online or in person. Don't forget, we're open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. each and every single day for your cards. And right now, Jackson Norton is throwing everything at the free space right down the middle, and it's 0-2. See if he can get a big first out of the inning for the Warhawks. The 0-2. Hit well to shallow center. That's going to drop. And it's fielded or misfielded. Delaboost will pick it up, throw down the line to second. It gets by. And it is a leadoff double for Desautel. And in steps Waite. He reached on a fielder's choice and drove in a run back in the second inning. Or sorry, the first inning. Runner on second. Jackson Norton catches Waite trying to chop wood, and it's 0-1. Waite and then Belleville due up for Lachine here in this bottom of the third inning. 10-7 lead Warhawks. The pitch. And that is swung on and missed, and quickly Jackson Norton ahead in the count 0-2. The 0-2 delivery. And that is off the plate. 1-2. Well, Waite swung at 2, possibly outside the strike zone. He did not waver at that one, though. Good eye. 1-2 count. The pitch. Foul tipped in the glove of Delaboost at strike 3. And there is one down here in the bottom of the third. And in steps Belleville, who struck out back in the first inning. Jackson Norton, his first strikeout of the night. Third strikeout for the Warhawks. Off the plate, 1-0 runner thinking about going. Lahash and Rice ready for that one. Don't forget, Jordan Norton has a really good arm, especially when throwing down that third base line. And he's behind the plate for the Warhawks. Go. Runner's going. He's going to have to be quick here. The throw, not in time. Desautel steals the bag, and it's the first stolen base of the night for Lachine. Runner on third, one out. Upstairs, and it's an even count, 1-1. Warhawks up by 3, but Lachine threatening to cut into this lead right now. Strike 2, good looking pitch by Jackson. Blake Chan on deck for Lachine. That one hops the bag. Jordan doing a good job of keeping that ball in front of him. It's ball 2, however, and it's an even count, 2-2. One strike away from a huge second out. The 2-2. Hit on the ground, but foul. And they're going to have to redo it. It goes into the books as what would be a long strike. But not in this situation because it went foul and it wasn't a bunt. 2-2. It's not something you'll see at the minor baseball level, bunting. Not permitted. The 2-2. Fouled off, and now a 7th pitch of this at-bat is coming up. So Belleville is really making Jackson Norton work here. 10-7 Warhawks leading. Swung on and missed for strike 3, and a crucial second out for the Warhawks this inning. That's strikeout number 2 for Jackson Norton. And here's Blake Chan, who walked and scored back in the 2nd inning. Runner on 3rd, 2 outs. The pitch from Jackson. Swung on and missed for strike 1. Good cut by Chan. Not able to make contact, however, on that off-speed pitch from Jackson. The 0-1. Misses. And it's 1-1. And don't forget, Desautel's over at 3rd. And with it being a 3-run game, obviously his team down, he could try to go for it. Off the plate, and Jordan does a good job of catching it. 2 balls and a strike. 10-7 lead for the Warhawks. Bottom of the 3rd inning. On the ground, it gets by the first baseman, and Chan has driven in the 8th run, and no, Chan's caught in a rundown, and Gabriel tags him down. It's an RBI single for Chan, and then he gets tagged out trying to extend the single into a double. Warhawks give up 1, so 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, and nobody left. The Warhawks up 10-8. We're heading into the top of the 4th inning. You're watching Baby Blue Memories. Well, welcome back to the top of the 4th inning as Cade Stacy swings at a high one for strike 1. Stacy and then Marcus Rice and Cage McCumber do up in the top half of the 4th inning with the Warhawks up 2. So a close game. James Barker, by the way, in his 4th inning of work. And that's skied foul. This was at the hospital ball field that would be a threat to go into the bleachers. Or actually, not with the gate anymore. Here's the 0-2 coming up from Barker.
You see it?
Swung on, tipped. Nope, it was not tipped. It was just swung on and missed. So that's strike 3 and 1 down for Marcus Rice. Rice has singled twice, has scored once, has stolen 4 bases. Speed demon out there for the Warhawks. Fouls this one off. It's 0-1. Rice and Cage McCumber do up. Lachine scored once in that inning. And we may very possibly get into the open inning in the 5th. Skied into the infield. Henry makes the catch, and it's out number 2. And quickly, there's 2 down, and here's Cage McCumber 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts on the night. Well, Barker's breezing through this inning. If he's allowed, they might send him out there for 5. So 2 up and 2 down for the Warhawks. And there's strike 1 on Cage McCumber. 2 up, 2 down, 2-run lead for the Warhawks.
Isn't it 11?
It's 10-8 Kahnawake.
Oh, we got 5.
And Barker in his 4th inning of work throws one at the knees, and it's 0-2 right now on Barker. For Barker. Barker's pitch to Cage. And that's going to one-hop the plate. This inning alive for at least one more pitch. Jordan Norton on deck. Here's the 1-2. Outside! And the A's thought that would have been the end of the inning. Still got one going, though. 2-2, 2 outs. Nobody on for the Warhawks. And now we've got a full count. So Cage McCumber has fought back.
I want to say something. It's going to be in. Camera!
The pitch. Swung on and missed. And 1-2-3 go the Warhawks in the top of the 4th. We're heading into the bottom. Kahnawake 10, Lachine 8. No runs, no hits, no errors. No one left on base for the Warhawks. Lachine coming up to bat. You're watching Baby Blue Memories. We welcome you back to Park LaSalle. Strangling LaSalle Lachine border. We'll just go with that. Bottom of the 4th inning. Warhawks 10 and the A's 8. This is a U-13 matchup. Brought to you, of course, by Mohawk Super Bingo. Talk about hitting one out of the park. You can, winning thousands in person or through Zoom. Don't forget, pick up your cards each and every single day from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. Mohawk Super Bingo. Talk about a Grand Slam or a 9 Grand Slam. That's how much they're giving away during their Zoom sessions. Kahnawake nursing a 2-run lead. It's 10-8. We are one inning away from the open inning. Jackson Norton in there for his 2nd inning of work. And the Kahnawake Warhawks, as you mentioned, up by a score of 10-8. But the A's are coming up the bat right now, knocking on that tying door after the A's put the Warhawks out 1-2-3 in the last inning. Here's Patel. No official at-bats. Walked back in the 2nd inning. Marcus Rice has shifted to 3rd. On the ground to 1st. Down the line. Gabriel picks it up. And he will tag the bag. 1 down. 1 up, 1 down for Lachine. Rushing to get De La Hache at 1st. Cade is at 2nd. Cage is at short. Marcus is at 3rd. Brascoop has moved to left. Barnes has moved to right. And Jaden Norton has moved to center. Jackson Norton on the mound. Which means, I believe, Brascoop is back there catching. 1 down, nobody on for Lachine in the bottom of the 4th inning. Here's the pitch. Strike 1. Good looking pitch by Jackson Norton. 2 balls and a strike. Upstairs. 3-1 on Renaud Berthelot, who walked and scored back in the 2nd. Inside, and he will draw a 2nd free pass on the evening, and what would be the game-tying run is in the box now. Aguirre Estrada, he has walked twice, scored 2 runs. But this is the first time he'll be facing Jackson Norton, who throws one in there for strike 1. Runners going. And the play was there, but not in time. And the A's have their potential 9th run of the evening in scoring position. tying run potentially at the dish here. Upstairs, it's 1-1. Aguila Estrada at the box. As we mentioned, no official at-bats, but 2 runs scored on 2 walks. 10-8 Warhawks. Here's the pitch. Foul tipped, and it's 1-2. Looking at the Warhawks next inning, Jordan Norton, Rustin Dahaway Gabriel, and Jackson Norton will be the 3 batters. What could be the open inning? That one gets away. Down the line, it gets away into the outfield. Runner gets to third. There's 1 out. Aguila Estrada digging in. That one's upstairs. And we've got a full count on Aguila Estrada. Outside, and that's ball 4. And the potential tying run is on, and what would be the go-ahead run is at the dish. This is Dion, who made solid contact last time, but he lined into a double play. 10-8 Warhawks. Strike 1. Good pitch by Jackson Norton. Strike 2, and it's 0-2. Jordan Norton behind the base, or behind the plate for the Warhawks catching. As we have the 0-2 coming up here for Jackson against Dion. Too low, and it gets away. Runners going. And now the A's have 2 runners at scoring position with just 1 out. No runs have scored in this inning for the A's, but 2 runners are in scoring position with 1 out. Skied, foul. Here you see how close it gets to us. We want our coverage, MSI. We're at risk. One ball, 2 strikes. We'll redo it. The pitch. Swung on and missed, and a huge second out of the inning as Dion goes down on strikes, and in steps James Barker. He's walked twice and scored once. And just went 4 innings. Norton digs in. Outside, it's 1-0 on Barker, who we've seen is a very disciplined hitter. And Kalani Henry, who had that bases clearing triple last inning, is up. And that pitch is behind Barker. Henry's definitely been the most noticeable A out there. Some great catches too at second base. Hit well, knocked down by Cade Stacy. They're gonna throw home. The throw, not in time, and the A's have tied it up. Now they got a runner trapped, but it is a double, and the A's have tied it up at 10. And the game is all square, and here comes Henry, who has tripled, driven in 3 runs, and he has also walked. Swung on and missed, strike 1. The game is tied at 10. Jackson Norton digging in. Upstairs, 1-1. It is a 10-10 scoreline here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Barker on second. He represents what would be the go-ahead run. Swung on and missed, and it's 1-2. And a big swing. And they're going to throw back. Oh. Barker safe at second, but a cat and mouse game clearly going on between he and Jordan Norton. Meanwhile, back at the dish, Jackson Norton 1 strike away from getting out of this inning. But the game is tied. Henry 1 shot to the outfield, dropping away from giving his team the lead. Knocked down by Jordan, the runner's going. And he gets a little more help because the runner has advanced to third on the steal. Barker 90 feet away from giving his team the lead heading into the opening inning. The open inning. 2-2 on Henry. Full count. (10-10) Warhawks and A's here at Park LaSalle. The full count pitch. Swung on and missed for strike 3, and we're heading to the open inning all square. It's 10-10. Warhawks will be sending out Jordan Norton, Rasundahawe Gabriel, Jackson Norton, Kahnawake 10, Lachine 10. You're watching Baby Blue Memories presentation of Warhawks Baseball, brought to you by Mohawk Super Bingo. All right, so we're just getting word right now that the scorekeepers have added a run for Lachine, and apparently it's 11-10 for the A's as we get into the open inning. And 2 balls. I could replay this and I could swear that it's 10-10 right now, but anyway, Lefebvre is in, and there's a chopper which hits the base, and we've got a leadoff single. Jordan Norton's aboard, and Berthelot, Lefebvre, the pitcher, gives up a single to start the top of the 5th inning. It's the open inning. And here's Rasundahawe Gabriel stepping into the dish. Runner on first. Swung on and missed for strike 1. Runner's going, and Jordan's going to get there standing up. I can rewatch this footage and I could swear to you it's 10-10, but the scorekeepers have it 11-10. And now the runner's heading to third. Jordan gets in there. And now what I guess would be the potential tying run is at third. That just means you got to score more in your open inning, I guess. That pitch misses. Jordan's not going to go for a home, but that would be something. We've seen Max Goodleaf steal home in a game earlier this season at the U-18 level against Soulange. Here's the pitch. And he's not going to go for it. And Gabriel smacks this one to shallow left. It falls, and the game is tied at 11. Oh, and Gabriel better watch out. He's in a rundown. All right. He just has to go back to first. But the Warhawks have on our sheets it's at 11-10, but according to the scorekeeper it's 11-11. Jackson Norton steps in. And he is plunked. More base runners for the Warhawks. And in steps Jada Norton, and what a night she has had. 2 for 2, a run scored and a double, which drove in 2. Warhawks could use some of that right now. Berthelot's pitch is behind, ball 1. We have it 11-10, but the scorekeepers have it 11-11. If you score 20 in this opening inning, though, it puts no doubt on it. And the runner's going. And he's gone at third, and meanwhile, Norton swiped second. So runners on second and third for the Warhawks. 2 runners in scoring position for Norton. Lily Barnes on deck. She's 1 for 2 with an RBI single. And a strikeout. Jada not able to make contact. Not in there. It's in there for strike 2 on Norton. And we've got a full count. 2 runners on, nobody out for the Warhawks. Trying to take the lead. Not going to happen here. It's strike 3 and there's 1 down. And here's Lily Barnes, 1 for 2, singled and drove in a run in the third and struck out in the first. Barnes ahead of that one, strike 1. Rosenegete Lahash is on deck. And that's smacked! Makes his way to the outfield, a clutch hit by Barnes! Lahash is coming up the bat. Jackson Norton scores! 2 runs in for the Warhawks. A 2-run single for Lily Barnes. And that's the 3rd run of the inning for the Warhawks. We have it 13-10, scorekeepers have it 13-11. 1 out, runner on first, and here's Rosenegete Lahash. He's 0 for 2 with a run scored. Reached on a fielder's choice, scored a run in the third, struck out in the second. Out of the strike zone, 1-0. Remember, this is the open inning. Warhawks have taken the lead. 2-0. Boy, plenty of action around the Park LaSalle here. Definitely not something we're used to at the hospital ball field. Usually it's the action on the field we're watching as it's fouled back by Lahash. Unless there's a boat passing in the water at the same time. Like we had in that U-11A Warhawks win over the Soulange a couple of weeks ago. Here's the 2-1. Lahash smacks this one, fielded by Henry, 1 down, the throw across the diamond, not in time. And here's Ethan Brascoop, 0 for 2, has struck out and grounded out.
Sorry, I have to go my bag.
2 outs, Warhawks with the lead. Runner on first. 1-0, runner's going. The throw down to second. And Kahnawake has what would be its 4th run of the inning in scoring position. Interesting to see what Kahnawake does if they let Jackson Norton pitch a 3rd inning next. And that's hit off the tail end of the bat. And the runners will beat out, and runners are on the corners. And here is Casey Delaboost, the hot hitter for the Warhawks, 2 for 2 with a home run and a single. 2 runs driven in on the night. Warhawks have put up 13 on Lachine. Rosanagete Lahash at 3rd. And that's smacked down the 3rd baseline, or the 1st baseline. And it is an RBI single. Casey Delaboost, have yourself a night, my friend. That is her 3rd run of the evening driven in. And the Warhawks have put up 14. And wait, what happened? There's an out at second base. And that's going to end the inning. And they call him out on leaving the base too early. I'm not quite sure if that run is going to count that Delaboost just drove in. We'll have to get information on what the score is. We have it 13-10 if this run doesn't count. Scorekeepers have it apparently. We'll find out after this. You're watching Baby Blue Memories. Well, welcome back to the Mohawk Super Bingo game of the week. It's 14-11 according to the scorekeepers. That run at the end did count. So according to the scorekeeper here, it's 14-11 Warhawks. So Jackson Norton trying to close the door on the A's, facing LaBelle, Deshotel, and Watt. On the ground to short. Norton knocks it down. The throw across the diamond. In time! 1 down.
Let's go! Nice.
Jada Norton with the throw from short to first, and there is 1 out here in the bottom of the 1st inning, or bottom of the final inning, open inning, and in steps Deshotel. Takes strike 1, right down the middle. You can see smoke behind that pitch. 14-11 Warhawks. They score 4 in the last inning to take the lead. In the dirt, 1-1. Strike 2, and it's 1-2. 14-11 Warhawks. 1 out. So we found out that the error was that the A's were marked down as having 4 runs in the second. 2-2. Or sorry, yeah, 4 runs in the first. When we have 5 base on balls and then 3 outs to end the inning, with the runner tagged out in between. So we only have 3 runners crossing the board. That was Dion, the leadoff hitter, and that one's fouled. We have Aguilia Estrada, Dion, and Henry scoring in that inning. and then nobody else came across. Barker was tagged out going to third. Anyway, the 2-2. Hit well down the third, the short, and it gets through. And a single is recorded by Deshotel. He's on board for a second time. And here's Waite stepping in. He's 0 for 2, reached on a fielder's choice and struck out. 14-11 Warhawks. Lefty batter at the dish. Strike one, it's 0-1. 14-11 Warhawks, 1 runner on, 1 out here in the final inning. Can Kahnawake shut the door on Lachine? Strike 2, right down Broadway. 1 out. Pitch. And that's a check swing, swung on and missed for strike 3, 2 down. And now 1 more out separating the Warhawks from a 500 record. As Belleville steps in, he struck out twice, runner on first. That's Deshotel, 3-run lead for the Warhawks. On the ground to first, picked up, and the Warhawks have slammed the door shut on the Lachine A's by a final score of 14-11. Kahnawake gets to 4-4-2. Lachine falls to 1-7-2. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your Mohawk Super Bingo game MVP. 3 for 3 with 3 runs driven in, including a home run back in the second. Our game MVP for tonight is Casey Delaboost, and well-deserved for her following that 3 RBI performance on Monday, a 3 RBI performance tonight. Kahnawake takes this one, coming back, according to the scorekeepers, by a final score of 14-11 after they were down by 1 heading into the open inning. Your final score, Kahnawake Warhawks 14, Lachine A's 11. I'm Brandon Bordeaux for Baby Blue Memories. We're out of here on Agiwahi.